I have never driven a Pagani on the road before, but today I'm going to do exactly that. I'm going to get to go in this Pagani Utopia Roadster. But before I drive it, I'm going to meet the people behind it to find out more about the car. Cars like this start at 3.1 million euros before you've chosen a single option. And most people choose a lot of them. It's got 864 horsepower, 12 cylinders, 2 turbos and a manual gearbox. And in a few years, they won't be allowed to build it anymore. I'm here with Francesco Perini. He's head of technical development. He's the guy in charge of engineering this car. So we're actually outside a very special building, Francesco. Where are we exactly?
Well, this is the Art and Science Research Center, which effectively was, back in the early 90s, the original facility where everything started. It used to be called Modena Design, but now the facility is fully operational just on R&D activities, so from design, engineering, prototyping and testing.
It's Horatio's office, isn't it?
Right above us.
So he's got his eye on you every day of the week, hasn't he? So tell me, what is the concept of this Utopia Roadster? In fact, how do you say it properly in Italian? Utopia.
Utopia, correct.
Okay. So what is the concept of this particular car? Because it looks very 1960s-ish compared to the Huayra, which is more aggressive.
Effectively, Utopia was a complete new chapter, differently from what we've done for Zonda and Huayra, where the Roadster came after a few years. Since the very beginning of the project, we imagined coupe and Roadster variants at the same time.
Quick question then. Are you a Roadster guy or a coupe guy?
A Roadster guy.
Roadster guy as well. Roof off, experience the car more.
But typically when it comes to a Roadster, you remove the top, but you're impacting the structure efficiency because you're removing a very effective part of the chassis which distributes the loads. The challenge here was how can we have a car which keeps the same rigidity, technical performance in terms of chassis, and the same weight at the same time.
So what's the weight of this?
1,280 kilograms.
Is that dry or wet?
Dry weight.
So it's about 1,500 kilograms wet with fluids. How heavy is the coupe?
Same weight.
So, okay. So for me, Francesco, the Utopia has a very classy look, but while it looks great, it's also very functional. Can you talk me through some of these features here, especially at the front with the aero?
Well, being a hypercar, of course, there are a lot of elements that will influence the performance. So that's why the design, which was born as a pure expression of what we believe should have been the next chapter of the Pagani road cars, expressing the most also in the little details like aluminum bezels you'll find here, which are machined from solid blocks.
Yeah, so like on any other car, that'd be plastic. This is beautiful to touch. But does this actually aid aero?
There is a channeling in there, yes. You see the vents?
Yeah, real vents there.
Yeah.
That releases air pressure from the
large
wheel
liner
arches
to the outside of the vehicle.
But you add this element on here just for some design flair. Then how about the light shape as well?
Which has been designed thinking and imagining what was romantic from the nostalgic times of the 60s, you know, the headlights of the Vespa, this kind of flavor.
So this is inspired, in a way, by a little scooter?
In a certain way, yes. And the main block is effectively machined from solid aluminum block.
All this here. Now, I know Horatio really does love his 1960s cars, especially like Porsche. He's got a 917, hasn't he? And this light design, is that sort of a little bit inspired by that too, as well as the Vespa scooter?
Mm-hmm. Being with a lot of horsepower, we need a lot of cooling and aero balance that all these shapes here manages with the opening of the main radiator, the intercooler radiators, through making also the cornery-like part, which is little contribute to the drag reduction and to the increase of the downforce, because ultimately we want the car to be as stable as possible, delivers an equivalent of downforce similar to the Roadster BT, which is a very aggressive car, you see, with a big spoiler and a rear wing, whereas Utopia is a very romantic shapes.
I know that Horatio sometimes designs things before they go into the wind tunnel, and he's got this natural ability to improve a car's aero just by creating something beautiful. So is this what's happened here? So some of it's wind tunnel, some of it's just Horatio just knowing what will improve airflow?
Mm-hmm. Typically with experience and intuition, we managed to start the project with a solid pace. And the CFD analysis, simulations and the wind tunnel help us to refine minor elements, but luckily we never had to readjust the projects that much and losing that intentions that was the original feeling at the original design.
Okay, moving round, obviously famous thing on Paganis is the single windscreen wiper. What's the reason for going for a single windscreen wiper? Is it just because of the shape of the windscreen itself, or is it due to aerodynamics?
One of the complex things to homologate the windshield is the shape and the dimension. We managed to keep the single wiper because it helps to reduce the weight and it's make it more efficient.
It does cover around for most of it. I suppose when it wipes up there, that bit connects down with the windscreen. Okay, so down the sides here, this is where I get a little bit confused because we're talking about aero efficiency. We've even got aero wheels here. This must cause drag. They must do.
They play a significant role in the experience.
As in the experience of like owning the car,
opening the car, opening,
yeah,
and the clients really like this kind of touches and things.
Now, there's something I've noticed which is a little bit odd. On this side, we've got aero wheels. The other side, non-aero.
For the clients that are more willing to use the car on the track, the aero version with this carbon blade helps to extract the hot air.
Wait, are people really taking these Utopias on track?
Yeah, they do.
I wouldn't take mine on track. I'd be too frightened.
It's meant to be used for both on the road, but also needs to be capable of pushing hard limits on the track. So this is one of the most difficult engineering challenge, to make the two compatible in the same creation.
I mean, personally, for me, on this car with this colour scheme, I prefer the normal wheels. But if this had carbon on it, I'd probably go with the
carbon blades.
The carbon blades. Which do you prefer?
Yeah, the carbon blades.
Carbon blades. And this is classic Pagani, like the intricate design of the door mirrors. Isn't it a nod to a woman's eye or something?
No, that was a Wira's design.
That's the Wira's design, okay.
This is based on a different principle. And
is this a man's eye then?
No, the thing is the arm supporting the mirror is effectively an airfoil section.
So that creates downforce?
Yes.
Just a little bit of downforce to make up for the fact that you got some drag here from the buckles, which people love. So this is a beautiful part of the car. Massive piece of carbon fibre, isn't it?
A very complex part in terms of manufacturing process, because it embeds a lot of things in a single layup process, and it's effectively one of the biggest parts we built.
And then there's other little details. So just the clicky clack of that. Everything you touch just feels nice, doesn't it? Like, it's the door hinge. I like the way you don't try and hide it. Like some manufacturers have like a button hidden. You're just like, yeah, this is a feature. Then here at the rear, I mean, the rear is beautiful with the 4 exhaust pipes. Yeah, this one's got ceramic coating on the exhaust pipes in there, which just adds a little bit extra flair. What's going on with the rear design? I mean, some of it's functional, the adjustable wings. So this is active aero you've got here.
Yeah.
But when it's stationary, it just all fits in beautifully, doesn't it? And it is a totally flat bottom because you haven't got really like exaggerated diffusers. I was expecting more diffuser action. It is flat at the bottom.
It's completely sealed.
So what is the amount of downforce on this car?
Oh, it exceeds the 500 kilograms at 280 kilometers per hour. So it's similar to the Roadster BC.
And that's way more aggressive looking.
Yeah, it's way more aggressive.
And you get close to it with this more classy design. Obviously, the other part of a Pagani, it's not just the looks, it's also the power. So let's get into the engine. So the Utopia, it's powered by a 6-litre twin-turbo V12 from AMG, hence the AMG badge there. What horsepower does it have?
It's 864 horsepower. As you rightly pointed, it's assembled in a Falterbach at AMG, but due to the strong and valuable collaboration between the two parties, this is effectively called Pagani V12. It delivers 1,100 Newton meters of torque.
Wow, that's a lot of torque.
Revs up to 6,500 RPM.
It's not bad for a big turbocharged engine.
Coupled with the 7-speed transversal transmission that we developed with X-Track. And the big challenge was to make the powertrain as light as possible. And we're talking about 262 kilograms dry weight of the engine. The other challenge was to comply with emission regulations that we are facing, and we're not having any kind of exemption. We need to homologate worldwide and comply with all the emission standards.
So it can be sold completely in every market?
Yeah, both Europe, US and derivative markets. And the challenge is in 2026 to deliver a pure V12 with no hybrid assistance or anything, capable of expressing the pure nature of the mechanical power.
At some point though, surely Pagani are going to have to add some form of electrification, aren't they? Or are you trying hard to create engines that will never need that?
This, for example, is certified up to 2030 in Europe, and in the US up to 2031. And there will be further steps of evolution of the...
So if you can, you're going to try and avoid electrification, is that correct?
Yes, we will try to avoid it, but of course we need to be very open in case at some point in history we'll be forced to do so.
Forced is the key word. Even the engine, I mean, look at this, the intake cover. Look at that's just beautiful. I'm going to put my
grubby fingerprints on it. And then obviously we've got the bronze Pagani, and it ties in with the suspension. So what kind of suspension we got on this car?
This suspension was effectively derived from the development done on the YR. The aluminum parts are all forged and machined.
The tyres on this car, they're Pirelli Trofeo RSs, but they have your logo on it. They're specifically designed for this car, obviously.
You can imagine a 22 inches tire, not for an SUV use, but for an hypercar with so much torque. How stiff on one side needs to be, but on the other side needs to be also comfortable for the driving on the road.
So even if you're driving in these RSs and it's wet, the car should stay stable.
There is
there's not much tread on these, are you sure?
There is a lot of combination in the work between the sensor, the ESP, so the active aerodynamic of the car. They work as a whole.
So that's all very bespoke. And speaking of bespoke, I mean, we've got to move on to the interior because it is rather special. They're just so unique and beautiful. And this is all just from milled aluminium. Everything you see that looks metal is metal, isn't it? Everything that looks leather is leather. It's great, isn't it? One thing that is interesting though is that the seats are manual. Very expensive car. Well, apart from the tilt, that's electric. Why choose manual? Is it lightness?
It is lightness, but it comes to the angular position of the seats.
So I'm going to be driving this. What are the controls I need to know? Obviously we've got 3 pedals, manual gearbox, and first is down here, it's a dog leg, isn't it? So that's one thing. Does it take some getting used to this gear shifter?
Actually, the gearbox development was one of the biggest things in the project because it was so difficult to have the 1,100 Newton meters of torque dealing with a pure mechanical gear shift with proper cable.
That's going to feel intense, like that much torque through a manual gearbox. I'm looking forward to that. What about these buttons here? What do I need to know about these?
So this is the control of the different driving modes.
So we've got wet, I guess, comfort, sport and race, yeah?
Race, yes.
So I just turn it and it will show me on the instruments.
On there, changing colors and gives you the different kind of reactiveness of the dampers, of the active aerodynamics, the ride height. So there is a multiple elements of the car that are balanced for each single driving mode. There is an auto blip because it's a manual.
Yeah, so if I can't hit and tow, then I can do that.
Yes, you can do automatically, or you can do it in the way you want when you're driving. Then there are controls to manage with the infotainment, such as all our physical buttons. You see, it's all machine.
And that's in there, isn't it?
Yeah.
So there's no central screen. We just get dials instead for like the turbo boost and oil pressure and temperature. Right.
And making physical button was actually something that the industry was not, I would say, keen to do anymore. So we had to somehow reinvent physical button to...
Yeah, because everything's through a touch screen now, isn't it? Not here. Oh no. We like to press things here at Pagani because everything just feels so tactile. All the buttons, even this, I like the sensation of that. Never has it been so pleasurable to put on your hazard lights. Very nice. And obviously we've got loads of storage, luggage space, and the key, which is cool, isn't it?
Yeah, for each model, the key always reflects the design of the car.
Wow, that is really nice. Now, one of the things about this car, it's a high-speed car. We've taken the roof off, and so there's an aerofoil that we need to put on there. I've got it here. So if you're driving the car with the roof down, you fit this, don't you? But even this is an experience. So let's see. I'll put that up there like that, and then I just turn that, yeah?
And then you rotate.
And even that feels quite nice, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like just the feel of that. Just the last bit's like magnetic, isn't it?
It is magnetic.
My God, you go into intricate detail on these cars. Okay, so now we're good to go and take this thing for a drive. So thank you very much, Francesco. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Matt. It was a pleasure to have you here today.
I promise to take care of this car. Before I actually drive the car, I thought I should learn how to drive it from Christopher Pagani. So Christopher, you're the number 2 son, not number 2 in terms of favoritism, but what do you do at Pagani? You're in charge of marketing, is that correct?
Yes.
Some people might say it sounds like quite an easy job. You just go, look, here's a Pagani, and people go, okay, we'll buy it.
There is a lot to explain about how the cars are built and what's behind the scene, all the engineering, all the design.
The Utopia is now your 3rd major car, isn't it?
Yeah.
And what's the output now? How many cars do you sell a year?
So it's roughly 70 cars a year. It's a very tiny number compared to, of course, what the other players are doing.
Sometimes you have it where children don't want to go into their parents' profession. That's usually the case if your dad's a lawyer or an accountant or something. But when your dad's building hypercars, it's kind of easy choice, right? If you weren't doing this, what would you do?
But to be honest, we've never been forced or never been suggested to be there. My father and my mom as well, which is also very involved since the beginning, they never said to us, you have to work with the family business. They gave us a lesson. You want to have your own bicycle, you want a mountain bike, you work in the afternoons, you come, you stay a few hours, and I can give you some money, then you can go buy what you want. And in a way, they taught us something that you don't get spoiled only because we make very rare hypercars.
Do you know what I thought you were going to say? Your dad was telling you if you want a mountain bike, you have to build it yourself, like I did with the little motorbike.
True, but going back to what you said, my passion has been always motorcycles. And I grew up with Valentino Rossi and him winning all the races.
So were you instrumental in hiring the lady that does the configurations with the customer? Because of her name is very, very close to Valentino Rossi. So we're driving around some roads where this is where you shake down the cars. Is this part of it?
Yeah, this is a place where we do most of our testing. Our cars are meant to be driven on the road because are all road legal, fully homologated cars. The majority of the testing is on the road. We do testing on the racetrack too, but here we can find bumps, we can find situations where we know how the car will behave on the different surfaces.
So I noticed these roads are very similar to British roads actually, in so much that I mean that they're not great. We're picking up speed now, you can hear the intake.
And we can have some fun too.
Go on then. 1,000 Newton meters of torque. It pulls, doesn't it? I'm going to get to see what it pulls like in a bit because I'm going to go out in the mountain. So obviously over the years you produce quite a few cars. I understand that people within Pagani, they tend to pick their favourite chassis out of all the cars. Do you have a favourite chassis?
I grew up earlier with Zondas, and my ever favorite is the chassis number 20, beautiful blue, full painted Zonda S. And there's a funny story. When we were producing that car, I think I was 15 years old, and I painted my Vespa with the same color. I bought a Vespa, restored it, and then made it similar to that Zonda because I loved it so much.
So have you guys got that Zonda back in at Pagani? Did you buy it back or is it out with the customer?
That is a car we were able to buy back.
So how many cars have you actually bought back? Because I know your dad had this problem with like actually selling cars in a way. He used to like chase after the delivery truck to wave goodbye.
Well, at the beginning we had only few prototypes that were meant to be used for testing, and we couldn't sell them, which makes it finding cars on the market now that we can afford getting some of the cars, because back in the day we couldn't do it. We had to sell all the production cars, maybe only keep some of the early prototypes, but the early prototypes are meant for the museum.
What other manufacturers' cars do you particularly like? Because I understand that your dad's daily is actually a Toyota Alphard, which a customer gave to him.
He loves it. And I do love it too.
They're good, aren't they?
We have one of the Alphards, which is the daily commute with my dad when he doesn't use the bicycle, which he does it every day. On a hypercar level, I would say we're very much into Porsches. So Porsches are probably a big chunk of the collection. A Carrera GT has been one of the early ones we were able to buy. 911R, 918 Spider. Some of those have been seen already in the internet that my father owns. His love is also with Mercedes. We have a 300 SL, which we just got a couple of years ago, which he loves, the design. Ferraris, probably his favorite to drive is the Ferrari F12 TDF. And now we are getting into some of the classic cars. So 275, some of those cars from the 60s and the 70s that I think reminds my dad when he was when he didn't have the money to get it. So now he's buying some of his wish list. I don't know if you saw it throughout the visit, but the last car we purchased is a Porsche 917, a Longtail. That is probably the pinnacle of the passion for race cars and Porsches.
So of all the cars that you've got within the family, is that your father's favourite, the 917? If he has to
Yeah.
take one, it's that.
I would say it's the only one he would keep if there is a day he says, I'm selling all my cars. That is the one he's keeping forever.
And you yourself, which would you pick?
Probably Carrera GT is a little bit more modern in a way.
I've driven on track and I've driven on a drag strip, but never on road. So this will be my first time to experience one on the road. Unfortunately, we got the weather.
So if you want to take the car back to the UK, you can drive it all the way.
You don't mean that.
You have the comfort, you have the fun. I'm sure you know the right roads.
Yes, I do. So my missus will be very pleased if I turn up in this. Go, hey, look at the new car. She'll be very pleased. You won't be so pleased when I actually take you at your word. And when I'm halfway to Calais, I'm like, Christopher, you know you wanted that car back.
Well, you said you want to go back with a plane, but the car is more fun.
It would be more fun. Maybe another day. I'd love to do it, but I'm sure you need this car for another day. You're just teasing me. I'm going to get and give it a spin and see what it feels like, and that'll be the review part. Maybe I'll find some things that I don't like so much about it. Who knows? We're going to find out. Thank you very much, Christopher. Appreciate it.
Thanks for giving me the opportunity to drive the car sometimes.
Yeah, it was for work.
That's right.
Here we go, first time driving a Pagani. We filled it up with fuel. I've got my Pagani hat on. I'm good to go. I think this gear shift is going to take a bit of getting used to, so I'll have auto blip on, but I am going to go in sports mode. Okay, first things first, getting out of here. Turning circle is not great. I'm going to have to do a definite 3-point turn. This is embarrassing. This is an embarrassing start. Can't really see behind me. Oh, yeah, there's my camera there. Just holding up the road. Can I get around there? Yep. It's very nerve-wracking driving a car that's this expensive the first time. Even though I've been doing this kind of thing for years, I've got the air conditioning blasting because it is so hot. Because they like to keep things lightweight, we don't have ventilated seats, I've got a bit of a sweaty. Well, I'll tell you one thing that I'm very surprised at, how easy it is to just pull away in this car. I thought it'd be all tension sensitive on the clutch, but it's so super smooth and easy. It seems quite sedate to just poodle about in. Clutches, light, brakes, fine. Throttle responses, predictable, all easy. And the suspension, even though in sports mode, so it's stiffer, it's just so good. You find that with really expensive cars. Because their bodies are so stiff, the suspension can be more supple, allows it to breathe with the road. Of course, they could have made this car more aggressive for faster lap times, but it's got to suit people who are going to drive it on the road as well as the track. Oh. Oh, that noise, a whoosh! When I'm driving naturally aspirated engines, I want to rip them, I want to rev them out to get that crisp, naturally aspirated howl. Whereas with turbocharged cars, they tend to just be on and off the throttle, which is diabolical for my passengers. But for me, it's really entertaining because I just get the sound from the turbo. It never gets boring. Whoa! Whoa, when it comes on boost. Oh no, I've got the gearing wrong. I've really got to get used to the gearbox. Because first all the way over there, it's almost like you're in reverse in a normal car. And so second and third, you still have to keep some tension on the spring, whereas it's fourth and fifth, which are in the neutral position. So it's a bit confusing for my little brain. I want to look behind me, but I can't see anything in that. May as well throw it away. Good job the door mirrors are nice and big because you can see quite a bit behind you. Even with cars coming the other way and on quite a narrow road, I don't feel intimidated by this car. I actually feel a bit more intimidated by my own 911. I just seem to be able to predict where the corners of this car are slightly better. I don't know whether it's because the dash is lower, or because it's got the big wheel arches which really tell you where the front of the wings are. But I do have a lot of confidence in going forward in this car, less so in pulling out of junctions and going backwards. I hope no numpties just ignored the lights. Hello guys. That must be a tough job on a day like today. Here's me moaning about the air conditioning and lack of seat ventilation. Cry me a river, Watson. The steering of this car is electro-hydraulic. What that means is that you have an electric power steering pump rather than it being driven off the engine for greater efficiency. The actual controlling of the steering is hydraulic, so you do feel more connected to the front wheels, get more feel through the steering wheel than you would do in a normal fully electric power steering system. So smooth, this is. I'd love to do what Christopher offered, being able to drive this all the way back to the UK, obviously taking the long way home, the longer way home maybe that should be. It'd be so good to just spend like a week driving back in this, through the Alps. Oh, what's going on here? Well, I'm flummoxed. Oh dear, I've gone the wrong way. Now I've got to turn around. Oh no, I don't want to turn around. I'm a bit worried about something coming round the corner behind me. This is my version of a van reversing. So go there maybe. Okay. This goes to show how easy it is to just modulate this clutch. Look at that. Don't go too far up there because then we might bottom out. I've done it. This is the tension of driving something like this. Always a bit nerve-wracking. So what's interesting about this car, it's done like 60,000 kilometers. It still feels tight. Yeah, got lost in the gearbox there again. I guess that's part of the fun. Learning it gives an extra dimension to the car. I'd find it easier if it was just 6 gears, to tell you the truth. You could argue that people who buy these cars don't actually get to spend that much time driving them because they're just too busy or they've got other cars in their collection. So maybe going with something that's easier to learn from the get-go, like a 6-speed manual rather than upside down 7-speed, would mean that you get used to the car quicker. But I can't fault the feel of the shift. It's nice and solid and mechanical, and of course it looks gorgeous. I suppose what happens is when you have one of these cars, you spend a couple of hours driving it, and then you spend another like 15-20 minutes after you've driven it just sat in it looking at it. And it's probably one of those cars as well that you can get enjoyment from without even taking it for a drive. So if you haven't got enough time to go out and drive it, you can just sit in it for like 15 minutes and get out again, and just see it as like a piece of art that you can also drive. Also, I'm not sure what this car feels like a weekend blast kind of car. It feels more like a road trip car. That once you've decided to go in it, you just want to keep on driving it. You just want to go somewhere in it. Enjoy the scenery, enjoy the car, rather than just take it out to smash it for a blast or maybe on track. I'm surprised that owners actually take this on track. I wouldn't, but apparently they do. Jeez. Whoa! That's more like it. Whoa! There's just so much torque. Wow! What a way to finish the video. And I'm not doing much talking, but this is just me enjoying myself. Wow. Right, I'm now behind a Dacia Duster, so that is pretty much the end. Oh, what a ride that was. A lot of fun, this car. Surprisingly easy to drive, and just a really nice thing to be in and to experience. What a privilege to be able to just drive it through these Italian hills. Absolutely glorious. First time driving a Pagani on the road, and what a way to do it. Thing is though, if I was buying a Pagani Utopia, would I go for this spec? Well, actually no, I wouldn't. I'll pick my perfect spec. I've configured my own car. Find out exactly what that car looks like. You need to watch my specking video, and you can see what it's like for customers lucky enough to be able to A, afford one of these cars, and B, get an allocation on one. Now, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a like. If you want to see some other Pagani content, make sure you subscribe to this channel because I have some more coming. And let me know what you think of the Utopia in the comments. Would you have this, a Koenigsegg, a Bugatti, or a Gordon Murray T50? Let me know. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Which way am I going? I can't remember. Where have I gone? I'm lost.